What brought Star Trek back to the mainstream was the motion picture, but since 1979, its popularity has waned greatly, particularly since the release of its sequel, Wrath of Khan. And even today, many people say if you're going to watch the Star Trek movies, just start with 2. But does that mean people are missing something great? Is there any reason to give the motion picture a second look? In this day and age, we are so quick to pronounce our love for a film, or our hatred for it. But how do we know if that loving adrenaline rush can carry over to repeat viewing? Or if our disdain is still justifiable? Well, we have to be willing to give every film a second look. The motion picture begins 2 years after the Enterprise's 5-year mission into deep space, and now a new threat is headed towards Earth. This threat is an unknown, and the only ship in its path is the Enterprise. I love how classic this is in regards to Star Trek. No matter what, it seems the Enterprise is always right where it needs to be. I also enjoy the build-up of the so-called villain of the movie, V'ger. It's such an intimidating force, helped greatly by Jerry Goldsmith's score. But a great story needs to be populated with interesting characters, and the motion picture certainly has that. There are a lot of great characters like McCoy and Ilia, but the 3 I want to focus on are Kirk, Spock, and Decker. When we are reintroduced to Kirk, we find out that he is now an admiral, clearly due to how he performed as captain during the Enterprise's 5-year mission. But given the threat brewing in space, he decides it is only right he takes back command of the Enterprise for the duration of this mission.
May I ask why?
My experience. 5 years out there dealing with unknowns like this.
It's made clear that Kirk has not really had much interaction with his former crew in the last 2 years, but I love how their faith in his leadership is still there.
Captain Decker? He's been with this ship every minute of a refitting.
Ensign, the possibilities of our returning from this mission in one piece may have just doubled.
But Kirk is a changed character. He is far more bureaucratic than ever before. He goes over Decker's head to reclaim command of his former ship.
I'm sorry, Will.
No, Admiral. I don't think you're sorry. Not one damn bit.
He pretty much forces McCoy back into Starfleet service.
Your revered Admiral Nagura invoked a little-known, seldom-used reserve activation clause. In simpler language, Captain, they drafted me.
But I enjoy this. I think if we had the same Kirk from the original series, it wouldn't really feel right. He clearly accepted the admiral position because he felt it was the right step for his career. But after 2 years, it's clearly eating at him. Shatner certainly brings something to this film. There are moments where Kirk acts like a complete jerk, but there are other times where we see the original Kirk we fell in love with. Like Kirk, Spock has changed. He has left Starfleet altogether and is attempting to purge all his emotions to become truly Vulcan. But something is stopping him from doing this. When he returns to the Enterprise, he is greeted with much love.
Why, it's Mr. Spock. Spock.
He is cold to his former crew, his family, because his mission is far more important to him to try to understand what this thing headed towards Earth is. But after he mind melds with V'ger, we get the old Spock back. I can't fully explain it, but I enjoy that the first half of this movie shows us a Spock as a full Vulcan. He shows no sign of emotion. It's really the only time in the franchise we ever get to see this, and it makes the joy of seeing his emotions return all the more great. Will Decker was appointed to being captain of the Enterprise after Kirk became an admiral. When we meet him, he has been working with the ship during its revamp for the last almost 2 years.
My familiarity with the Enterprise, it's cruel.
Admiral, this is an almost totally new Enterprise. You don't know her a tenth as well as I do.
But when Kirk takes command from him, he is demoted to commander. But many times we see that Decker truly never gives up being the captain, and makes it known to Kirk how angry he is at what Kirk is doing.
Sir, you haven't logged a single star hour in 2.5 years. That plus your unfamiliarity with the ship's redesign, in my opinion, sir, seriously jeopardizes this mission.
Of all the characters in motion picture, I think Decker is the most interesting. We see the strength of a leader many times, and understand why he was given the captain position. But when he's reunited with Ilia, we see something different, a softer side.
I'm sorry.
That you left Delta for? Or that you didn't even say goodbye?
If I had seen you again, would you have been able to say it?
I think what makes a great character is when they have layers to them, and aren't just one straightforward thing. What I think makes the motion picture so great is that it poses a great question. What is our purpose? Multiple characters in the film ask this question. Kirk questions if his purpose is to be a Starfleet admiral, or if his place is in the captain's chair. Spock questions if his purpose is to be a full Vulcan, or to hold on to what humanity he has inside of him. And Decker wants to be captain of the Enterprise, but when he is reunited with Ilia, he wonders if a life with her away from Starfleet is what he wants, or if he can have her and be captain. And of course, that's the question V'ger wants an answer to. After journeying to the ends of the universe and gaining so much knowledge, V'ger's return to Earth to reunite with its creator, to hopefully be given an answer. I understand that the motion picture is a slow 2001 style film. It doesn't have the starship battles or phaser fights that later Trek films would have in spades. But what sets it apart from most Star Trek films is that question it poses to the audience. We all at one time question what our purpose is, and the movie tells us how important it is to find our own answer. Star Trek to me is at its best when it challenges its audience, and that is what motion picture does. I really hope that this video makes you want to go back and give motion picture a second look.
Out there. That away.